Again, as we've seen in many of Jesus' parables, the unprofitable servant will be casted into outer darkness, hell. The unprofitable servant, let me say something now. You can be a Christian all day long, but if you ain't doing the works of the Lord and using your talents, you are an unprofitable servant. Unprofitable servant. See, you can't just get in there with salvation. You have to be a profitable servant doing what God has called you to do, using the talents that he has given you. Otherwise, you face the chance to be casted into the outer darkness, where it is so hot, there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth because the pain is so unbearable. And Jesus speaks this so many times throughout all his parables. Why? He's making a point to you that there is a right way and a wrong way to do things. And if you ain't on the right side, you will face what's on the wrong side, and that is a place of weeping and gnashing of teeth. It's a fact. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. I'm not here to preach sugar-coated words to you. I'm not here to flatter you. I'm not here to tickle your ears. The Bible speaks against it. My job is to make you look at yourself and let you evaluate what's wrong with you. Because we're all sinners. We all make mistakes. I have to go to my cross regularly because sometimes I get an attitude on here and I got to say, Lord, forgive me. I shouldn't have been like that. That's not godly. That's not righteous. I didn't show my fruits. I let carnality take over. Now you gonna tell me I'm gonna go to heaven if I'm acting like that and someone else is a sinner and they're watching me do it and they do the same thing? Come on, man. If they doing what I'm doing and I'm supposed to be a man of God, you think they're gonna change their life because I'm living in that same sin and I'm not changing? Come on. We have to live by example. That means use our talents to glorify God and to be set apart from this world. So you may ask me, Pastor, how does this apply to my life? How does it apply to your life? Well, let's look at some main points in this parable. First, God has given us different talents. We should be faithful in using every opportunity to use the talents to glorify God and help others. You and I, we have been given talents. And we should be faithful enough to be willing to go out and use every opportunity we have to use what God has given us. Every opportunity to use these talents that God's given me. Look, for 28 years I ran from my talent. I didn't know I was going to be a preacher. I know God put prophetic words over my life. And God said that I was going to go places, see things, and do things most people will never experience. Spent 9 years in addiction. Guess what? God was developing more talents. You know what that talent was? Now I'm an advocate to teach people how to recover from addiction. How to get rid of that title, I'm an addict, till I'm delivered by grace. As one of my t-shirts says. God has given me a talent to get into the word and understand it. God has given me a talent to sing with my wife. And if I neglect to use the talents that God has given me, then I'm no better than the wicked, lazy servant. For diligence is rewarded because it's obedience. Diligence is rewarded because it is obedience. But negligence is punished because it's disobedience. Does that make sense to you? Diligence is rewarded, and negligence, which means you neglect to do what God has given you to use. You neglect to go out and use the talents that God has given you. Negligence is punished because it is disobedience. Some of the points can be made, whether it is given to us, whether it's chance to minister or worship or work in the church. Every opportunity we have belongs to God. God puts people in our path for us to use our talents. That is why he says, hey, go talk to that person. Hey, go over there and minister to that person. Hey, get on that stage and preach that word. Hey, get in your study so I can show you what I need you to preach to somebody today. We have talents for a reason. We have talents for a reason. Diligence is rewarded because it's obedience. But negligence of those talents is punished because it is disobedience. Some other points can be whether it is chances to minister and worship or works in the church. That means showing up and helping them set up for Unite. Going and helping them set up for the dinner after Sunday church. An outreach to feed the homeless. Whatever opportunities or abilities we have belong to God. They belong to God. He gives us those opportunities. He puts those things in our path so that we can exercise the talents he has given us. We may possess them, but ultimately God owns them, and we are simple stewards. We may possess them, but ultimately God owns them. We are simply stewards. Matthew 25:14 it says, for the kingdom of heaven is a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. We have been granted many opportunities. Going down to verse 15, it says, unto one he gave 5 talents, another 2, and to another 1, and to every man according to his several ability. Look, Living Star won't have the same talents I got. Nakisha won't have the same talents I have. Lady J. Rock won't have the same talents I have. God gives us our talents according to our own personal abilities. Not everybody's been called to be a preacher, but many think they are preachers because someone told them they ought to preach. Did God give you that talent, or did someone tell you you got that talent? Was it a God-ordained talent? Or was it strictly just what a man told you to do? See, when you are directed by God,